The final signature. The cafe was quiet on that night, as if time hesitated to enter. The metal tables reflected a faint yellow light, and the wooden chair beneath me creaked with every movement. The scent of burnt coffee mixed with rising cigarette smoke filled the air, creating a simmering silence all around.
As I wrote disconnected words about the meaning of absence, I felt a shadow creeping across the floor. It was heavy, yet moved with the lightness of a breeze. I raised my head, only to find a person sitting in front of me without hearing the sound of his footsteps. His face was not fixed. At times he appeared as a dignified elder, sunk in years, and at times like a child, and sometimes with no features at all, just a human cloud staring at me.
In a deep voice mixed with a distant echo, he said, "Do not be alarmed. I am death." My hands froze above the pen. I did not scream. I did not run away. I just stared at him as if looking into an inverted mirror. Stammering, I said, "Death does not speak. Death ends." He smiled, his smile like a light tap on cracking glass. "That is what you imagine. You see me as a scythe, but I am a book. You see me as an end, but I am another beginning." In a deep voice mixed with a distant echo, he said, "Do not be alarmed. I am death." My hands froze above the pen. I did not scream. I did not run away. I just stared at him as if looking into an inverted mirror. Stammering, I said, "Death does not speak. Death ends." He smiled, his smile like a light tap on cracking glass. "That is what you imagine. You see me as a scythe, but I am a book. You see me as an end, but I am another beginning."
He pulled his chair and took a breath as if from a cloud, then added, "Ask Heidegger. He will tell you that existence is incomplete without openness to me. Ask Camus. He will confirm that I am the essence of absurdity, and without me, rebellion loses its meaning. As for Nietzsche, he danced with me on the edge of the mountain and saw in my presence an incentive for the will to power." A tremor ran through my back. I tried to appear brave and asked, "And if I ask Al-Ghazali about you? Did he not say that death is the door to the afterlife and that man should prepare for it as a traveler prepares for departure?" He smiled and said, "Al-Ghazali sat with me for a long time, made me a sermon and a scale for hearts." "And Ibn Sina?" I asked. "He wrote in Healing that the soul remains and that I am not annihilation but a crossing, that I am a bridge to permanence." He moved closer to me until I felt his breath, cold like a silent night. As for Al-Jabri, he looked at me in the mirror of Arab thought. He said that your relationship with me is not only biological but also civilizational. I am part of your way of thinking, your collective fear, your silence when history speaks. A long silence prevailed. No one moved in the cafe anymore. The waiter froze, holding a tray. Cigarette smoke hung in the air like a glass sculpture, and the clock on the wall stopped its hands. Only we remained, me and death, in a timeless cosmos. I said with a faint challenge, "But you are harsh. You take children from their mother's arms, leave lovers widowed, and sow tears in the eyes of the elders." He tapped a bit, then raised his head. "I do not sow anything. You sow the pain, and I only reap it. I am the mirror that reflects your fragility. I am the silence that reverts everything to its origin. Do not look at me as a killer. Look at me as a seal, as the final point in the line." I lit a new cigarette to hide my confusion. He said, contemplating the smoke, "If not for me, You would not know the value of a moment, the meaning of a kiss, the pleasure of a laugh. I give life its taste because I remind you that you are passing. At that moment, I remembered Pascal's words, "Man is a thinking reed, and the greatest thing in him is that he knows he will die." Death smiled as if he had read my thoughts. True, you are weak, but your weakness is your wisdom. Then he rose slowly, as if his body was dissolving into light and shadows. Before leaving, he said, "I came not to take you, but to remind you. The text you postpone will only be written by you. The word you remain silent about will remain orphaned. I do not deprive you of life. I incite you to it." He disappeared, but his voice echoed in the empty cafe. Remember, I am your final signature on the contract of existence.
I looked at my papers. They bore the mark of the days I had lived and contained everything I had left unsaid. The words were no longer just symbols, but a record of the true confrontation of mind and soul with death. I realized that death was not a distant event, but a continuous reality that refines our existence, teaches us patience in loss, and reveals the boundaries of time and space.